Hello everyone and welcome to Magicbricks webinar series. This is a platform for consumers to interact with industry experts. The topic of today's discussion is your project RERA compliant? I would like to introduce today's guest, Mr. Salil Mehta. He is the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at Naiknavare Developers. Salil has over 30 years of working experience, stretching from armed forces to a startup, National Sales Manager, National Gas Company, SAOG, Oman, Chief Marketing Officer, Vardhan Realty, Pune, Assistant General Manager Administration, Human Resource at Khan Engineering Company. I also welcome Ejayashree Kurup. She is the editorial head at Magicbricks.com. She has been a business journalist for over 2 decades with the Times of India, the Economic Times, and the Financial Express. She forayed into research in the year of 2002. She is a regular guest columnist with a number of established media, including Times Group and others. Over to you, Ejayashree.
Thank you, Pushpa. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we live in dramatic times. Policy has actually created a churn in the real estate industry, and I think that churn is for the better. For the first time, the consumer has taken center stage, and all policies are directed towards servicing that consumer, who I think over a period of time had actually become very disgruntled. We bring to you the Naiknavare developers, a group that has actually working in Pune and has been able to get its project registered on RERA, the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. And RERA, as you know, is the one policy which will take the interest of the consumers very closely. It will be working for the consumer, but on the other hand, it is also bringing a lot of form and structure to an industry which over the years has become bigger and bigger. Salil, welcome to our Magicbricks Dialogues. Salil, first of all, when you started the process of applying for the RERA registration for your project, take us through the process. What did it mean to you as a developer?
First of all, the RERA, as we all know, is an act of Government of India, which was further has shifted to the state level. So we form part of Maharashtra RERA, and that was promulgated in March 2017. And with effect from 1st May onward, all the builders who are actually launching their projects, if it's a new launch, then it has to be a RERA registered project. Then only the project could be launched. And the second is all ongoing projects have to become RERA compliant. Now, obviously, when anything comes in life, it comes with pain and with a lot of confusions and like what is right and what is wrong. And same thing has been with the team. But at Naiknavare, we were very committed, very firm in our views that we have to go RERA compliant. And that is how we started with instead of trying to convert our ongoing project into RERA compliant, we started considering that let's be the first one in the Maharashtra at least, or in Pune first, to be a first project which is a new launch with the RERA compliance. And our team has done is, the first we did a detailed analysis. Naiknavare Group has its own in-house legal arm. We have in-house architect team. And in all, Naiknavare Group consists of nearly all in-house resources. So we did a fast track calculation. We understood the things which are required. What is the RERA area? What are the legal compliances needed? What are the documentation required? Because if you go through the RERA Act, it is a custom act, and it is to the cheers of the Aam Janata. It is bringing in a lot of cheers because the real estate is always a questionable thing, and it is assumed that a builder is wrong. The RERA will bring in a lot of transparency between.
Salil, I think we're having some technical problem. We didn't hear you, the last thing that you said. Could you repeat that, please?
The last thing which I was talking about was that the RERA has brought in a lot of transparency for the consumer as such. Because it very clearly says that any project which is more than 500 square meters and above, it has to be RERA compliant. If this is more than 8 flats, apartment, then it is again supposed to be RERA compliant. And RERA compliance doesn't just word means RERA compliance. I believe a lot of clarification a person should need. RERA means RERA compliance means lot of regulatory requirements. One is all the project should have all the sanctions in place, and it should be visible to Aam Janata. It should be seen by everyone. Second thing which became very relevant with the RERA thing is that every project, like what is the land, how much is the carpet which is exactly given, the timeline of the project. The normal complaint by user has is that the project is not delivered in time. So there are penalties being put in the places. Then there is whether the all clearances which are required are there or not. It is not only that it is being checked by the RERA, it is also that it is visible on a click to the any user. You can just go to MahaRERA site, go to on the registration page, open the project name. You will find Nilaya, which is our first project which we have launched. And Nilaya can be clearly seen, and you can open and see everything. And then comes the second stage, wherein the projects need to be updated every third month. That means what is the sold inventory, what are the various type of progress in the excavation, what is the stages of the project. And likewise, there is nothing which is being left out in this whole RERA Act, which can keep customer in the darkness.
So, what was the most difficult thing when you were applying for RERA? What are the hurdles that you had to cross?
See, hurdles were very simple. One is that if you understand the old ways of launching a project were different, and the present in the RERA Act is totally different. In the present, there used to be first used to be an investor launch, then a soft launch, and then a launch. Okay, the difference which Aam Janata may not be and general public may not be able to appreciate. It is like first the investors will put some money in the pool. That money will be used for the initial movement and the marketing part of it. With the RERA, first thing is that you need to have all documentation in place. You need to have every document, whether it's a plans, whether the sizes of the flat, what are going to be the amenities in that, and what are your deliverables, all with the sizes and all the regulatory sanctions in place. PMC approval if required. In our case, Talegaon approvals are required. Environment clearances. All these clearances has to be Satbara of the project. Whatever is required has to be ready on the day one. So in case of Nilaya, it was the very first day that we got the registration number. The project is launched full-fledged for everybody.
Right. And what is the difference for the consumer? If you could spell it out for the consumers out there, how has RERA changed their lives when it comes to buying property?
See, RERA changes the life of every buyer in the real estate industry very, very fast. The way is that if I talk about my own project, Nilaya, okay, this is our first new launch which we have done. The land titles are clear. Okay, whether the land is under dispute or not. If there is a minor of the thing which is there in that project, first is from the legal side, it is all listed on the website. Okay. Second is there are clear directives on the carpet area. A project paper, there is nothing called as loading. We have no concept of loading. Earlier, when the buyer used to go, he was totally confused that the builder is giving me this much living area. However, the charges, somebody is charging X percentage, Y percentage, like that. So now there is a clear-cut rule, and if you see the carpet areas are now very well defined. When I talk about the carpet areas, the RERA areas are like this. We have a carpet area of the flat, that is the actual flat which you are using. Then what is the total balcony area? Okay, and then what is the balcony means? It has to have a shape.
Balcony area. You have the carpet area, then you have the total balcony area, right?
Yeah. Then you have an exclusive open terrace area. When I'm using exclusive, you are using. It is your own terrace. Terrace means it is open to sky.
Salil, we again missed what you said. You'll have to repeat that last sentence again. I'm sorry.
Like we have an total balcony area, then we have an exclusive open terrace area. Okay, then you have an exclusive garden area. Exclusive doesn't include the garden which is in the landscape. This is the garden which is in your premises, which you are using. So the total area becomes the total usual area of flat, which includes only the things which you are using it. Okay,
What
so this
happens
makes,
to the... Yeah, sorry, please continue.
yeah, this makes a total carpet area of that flat. Earlier it used to be sellable, and sellable was very fluid. Now it is a very well defined, and now the second thing is, in this, suppose the carpet area exceeds more than 3%, or suppose it is exceeded by 1%, then buyer at the time of handing over will give me the money of 1%. At the same time, if suppose I am giving him a less area by say 2%, then I'll refund that money of 2% to the buyer. Okay, so every flat is like as if you are buying a gold. You have an area defined. You have a, when you buy, you can challenge it that this area was not given to me. It can be measured by a third party and a recognized party, and then you can check it that this much was the difference. Suppose the area exceeds by more than 3%, then a buyer has gotten all the right to say that I don't want to go ahead with this project.
Okay, and you have to refund the money.
Yeah, refund is obviously it is there. There are clear-cut guidelines on refund also. We have a proper various type of refunds are there at which stage he wants to come out, and we have the various dates which I'll since I cannot specify each and every because it's a part of an act. I'll not like to like talk on this, which I'm not 100% like I can't give you the dates and all. But if you want, I can take my time and revert back to any queries who want to know exactly when they want to cancel and when they want to what is the time period it will be returned. The normal time period which is 90 days. Okay, if within the 90 days I need to refund the money which it is cancelled by them. Then comes the money part. In the money, when earlier the project money used to come and go into miscellaneous account, not known to anyone. Now, as per the RERA guideline, the entire money will come only in the one account, and that will be called as collection account. Out of this money, 70% money has to be reserved for the construction only, and it can be used only for that particular project. 30% money is the only money which is available with the builder to use it for the miscellaneous requirement of that project. So that 70% of issue was like sometime the market going up, the construction money could have been diverted. In this, there is no provision of such, where the money can go anywhere other than the construction of the very same project.
Right. Just to recap, consumers, whoever is listening in, RERA, by conforming to RERA, the first thing is that all approvals are to be in place. The legal title of the land has to be completely clear so that construction can start. The developer has to submit all the approvals on the website. It is there for you to inspect. The 70% of the money has to go into a separate account. 30% can be used for the development of land and towards land costs. The project has to finish on time. The carpet area has to be defined. It also tells you what is the balcony area, the open terrace area, and your personal greens that you have. So, and in case the when the developer is building, if the square footage of the property, the size of the property is more than 3% over that, you can challenge it. There are provisions on whether it's less, whether it's more, and you can challenge it. If it's more than 3%, you have the right to say that I don't want to go ahead with this project, and the money should be refunded to you in 90 days. Salil, while you have to declare.
There are one or two more very important points which I
like to there's a question I'd like to ask you before you go on. The common areas of the project, for instance, the corridors, the lift lobbies, the lift areas, what was added on to the super area of the property? Who pays for all that now?
So what is happening is now the builder has to define that's what I was telling, I have missed out on one component. That's the very thing you have got it. And that is that the project now has to be defined on day one. that what is going to be delivered on this specific day. So, for example, in Nilaya, like we have about a building defined, all the roads inside the project, what will be the landscaping, then what type of solar provisions we have in it, whether the water treatment plant, firefighting arrangements, then the clubhouse, what all facilities am I going to give it in clubhouse. This all is very clearly defined as per the RERA. Now the question comes, who going to pay for it? Okay, because it's not being put on this building. So the phase one, the building, we have defined the whole common area as 487 square meter. Okay, now this club area and all that has been defined. The provision exists in RERA for me to charge the customer for this particular amount.
And how does the consumer know that? For instance, I come to you and I book a apartment.
It is there on the website that club is also considered as a building. If you see the RERA registration format of Nilaya project, where you will find that this clubhouse details are also there. Every detailing of the project is very clearly. You can open anything, any document, what we have filled to RERA, it is also clearly available on the RERA website. And MahaRERA website, it is there, and every collaterals which we are making, whether it is like a pamphlet or a newspaper display, whether I'm putting it on Magicbricks or anywhere for that matter, the registration number of that has to come as a compulsory element. No advertisement and the RERA compliant can go without having a registration number of that project, and preferably the link also has to be given wherever it is there. Otherwise, we write there are certain in-house limitations with certain, they don't share the outside links. So they mention that this is available on MahaRERA website.
Right.
Another important element which is there, which is very significant to mention here, because the public needs to understand that there was another very important element in the real estate industry which offers 30% plus job, was the brokers and consultants. Now under the RERA, the responsibility has now equally gone on the brokers, and they also need to get registered. The project cannot be sold by anyone other than a non-registered or without you having the registration number. So every broker.
How many consultants did you work with per project? How many consultants you work with per project?
For this project, we have about 16 of consultant and brokers who have registered with us. The RERA rule is that whoever is registered and we have permitted, that only can like project our project. And a non-RERA compliant person cannot, whether he is an individual or is a company. Even an individual, the provision exists that they pay us a small amount of money and they can become a RERA broker. And there are a lot of things which have been imposed on the brokers also. It is not that they have conveyed the deal and after that they can walk off. There are a lot of responsibilities on the correctness of the information. Everything transaction has to be falls now part of the brokers this thing. Otherwise they get a penalty. Everywhere there is a penalty which can extend, in case of a builder, it can extend up to the 10% of the project cost.
Right. For a consumer today, when he buys into a RERA registered project, does that mean that everything is above board, that he will get his project on time, that he will get a livable project? Sometimes on-site infrastructure is ready, but the off-site infrastructure is not there. The connecting roads and all are in a bad shape. Does that also get addressed?
Yeah, you are very correct, and that is what is the happy thing about the consumer. Everything has to be handed over, and not only that, the only provision which earlier the builders used to have was anytime they can change the thing inside the project. Now, under the RERA Act, unless there are 2/3 of the people who have already bought the property, their concurrence is not obtained. RERA cannot be modified.
Salil, you'll have to repeat that again. Salil, we had a technical problem again. Your voice was not audible. Please say that again.
Okay. There's a very special arrangement in the RERA Act. That is when you have registered a project, your agreement also is seen the day one. what will be the format of agreement, and what are the payments which you are paying again. Everything is a single agreement, approved, allotment letter is approved, everything is being displayed on the website. Now comes the second point which I was talking about. In this, suppose a builder wants to bring any change in the project. He wants to do a minor change or some changes in the design and all that. Then as per the RERA Act, 2/3 of the allottees who have already been allotted the house have to give their concurrence to the builder to make any change in the project.
Right.
Okay,
What
so
about
here it is.
infrastructure?
Now this comes the next component, which is again very important to be discussed here, and which just needs to be understood why a RERA project is very safe. RERA has very smartly and intelligently put certain provisions in place wherein how the money will come into the builder. The rule is that first 10% of the money will come. A builder cannot take more than 10% of the agreement value before the agreement. And on 10% of the money received within a specified time limit, the project has to be, the agreement has to be registered. On completion of the registration, the remaining 60% of the money, the builder can take till the slabs. And after that, the next thing comes is sanitary fittings, finishing, interior and exterior paint, and a larger chunk of money which we usually used to experience that the lift is put at the end. Now the lift is to be put, and then the 10% amount will be released by the appropriate authorities from the 70% account. So in the nutshell, when the project is delivered, everything which has been shown in the RERA compliance format, if I show, can I show you something on the screen? If you see this design, if it is visible, in this design, if you see, the project which is in dark color is the one which has to be delivered. That means roads, everything which is in the dark color has to be delivered by us to the buyer. We have no way out if the roads are not ready, the outside payment and the clear fittings, everything has to be ready. In perspective of a person can day one start using every facility.
Right. What about maintenance? Now you know that RERA is there, but there's GST also coming in. With these two, will the consumer benefit in terms of prices? Will prices go up, go down? What do you think as far as RERA and GST go?
See, RERA and GST are two different type of the new reforms which are happening in the country, and the government is very actively getting into reforming. GST is something to do with all India one tax reforms. Okay, it is for the larger use of each and every individual who is in the country. Okay, whether he's an Indian or an where the taxation is something which is taken care of in different format. Real estate forms part of 12% of GST. The prevailing rate ranges from 3.5 to 5.5. That is what is the rate which is right now. Now comes the question of impact of GST with the present buyers and the future buyers in the industry. The debate is still going on. How the benefits will come, and I think the right time to talk about GST.
Salil, we missed that. You'll have to repeat that.
Okay, so the thing is that the debate on the GST is still going on, and what 12% is going to increase the cost, or some benefit will be given back to the buyers. What we have done in case of the Nilaya as such, the cost impact is not going to be much because the structure itself takes care of this, and it will be a marginal increase as per the taxation rules applicable at that time. Okay, and GST, the right time of actual impact will come to know when the final policy of GST is known. Not the right time to actually comment on that particular, because there are a lot of things being even clarity is not so clear.
Right.
Regarding RERA, I can tell you, RERA is something.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, RERA, I can tell you, GST and RERA, when we are comparing GST and RERA, the RERA is totally to do a state-wise what provisions they are imposing depending on the local conditions, the costs of the land, then the society formation rules, everything is taken care under the, which is to do with the definitely what you are paying for, you are getting. Whereas GST is something to do only with the taxation. Here, suppose let it be like even if the cost goes up or goes down after GST, how what I'm paying, am I getting it? But RERA does confirms that what you are paying, you are getting it.
Right.
Like Nilay, we have the guidelines to give now going ahead one step, the new construction. We have that we'll have to give a PV, we are going to give one fan, one bulb, one TV point permanent available on solar, so you don't pay for that. So there are so many measures which have been taken which are going to change the real estate industry to a very noticeable changes.
What about your existing projects, Salil? Has Naiknavare started registering your existing projects as well under RERA?
Yeah, our total team is working. We are on final stages. We have already concluded the areas because see the biggest difference between an ongoing project and the the new project. We take pride even today that ours is the even date today. There are only 2 or 3 builders who could come with their new projects. But we took up Nilay happens to be first, and very good response we are receiving from the like buyers. They are coming. We are not doing much marketing. We have a very good response on the project, and there are good numbers of buyers, and we are very happy to share that as a sales head, I have crossed my targets by more than double without doing much efforts. And I'm thankful to RERA for that.
That's wonderful.
And that is what gives a clear message to me and all that that RERA is well taken by the buyers.
Congratulations, Salil. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all this with us. I'm sure there will be lots more queries that consumers will have, and we would like to come back to you. Consumers, all these, everything that Salil has said will be available on the project page on Magicbricks forum.magicbricks.com, and wherever there are queries, do keep coming back to our forum asking the queries. As Salil said, he'll be only too happy to answer your queries and clarify all the doubts. Thank you, Salil. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Over to you, Pushpa.
Thank you everyone for participating in this webinar session. Keep posting your queries at Magicbricks forum, that is www.magicbricks.com/forum, and get all the queries answered by our experts. You may also write to us at editor@magicbricks.com. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a